everybody, welcome to Fiber at 4. We're starting out tonight with a little bit of kind of somber news. Sorry, I'm pulling out my phone because I've got information in here that I need. So for those of you who are not from Colorado, our community was hit by tragedy once again. The Marshall Fire started Thursday at around noon, and it has greatly affected our community. Family members, staff members, all of us have been affected by it. So we are going forward with Fiber at 4 as normal, but we are doing it with rather heavy hearts right now. So just to let you know, we do have some events planned to help with the fire victims. Hey, Mom. And I've got Gail standing right here just in case I missed something, but this is why I brought my phone with me. So to help raise funds for the fire victims, the Homebody Knit-Along, which is scheduled to start this month, the fee to register for the Knit-Along is now being donated in its entirety to the fire victims. Currently here at the shop, we are accepting donations of handmade hats, scarves, cowls, mittens, gloves, any warm items to help with the evacuees. In fact, Gail and Pam right now are going through a whole lot of donations that we've already received from our community members, including Ann Budd. So this is absolutely amazing. So thank you guys so much for already helping out. This is totally awesome. Third, this coming Saturday, January 8th, we are donating 20% of all of our sales, both online and in person, to help with the fire charities. And in addition, we are planning on creating care packages with needles, hooks, yarn. It's in the planning stages right now, so we will get you more information as soon as we know how we're putting these care packages together for any of our fellow fiber friends that may have lost their stashes. So I think that looks to be about it. Gail, did I miss anything? Oh, we did change our Charity of the Month for January to help the evacuees of the fire. So if you purchase your loyalty card, sorry, my mind went blank there for a second. If you purchase a new loyalty card this month, all of those proceeds will be going to the fire victims, and we will also accept any monetary donations that'll go straight to the fire victims. Also, if you're here in Colorado, 9 News has a very fantastic article on their website listing a bunch of charities that you can donate to help the victims out. So currently here at the shop, we will take any of your warm things that we can give to the evacuees. So thank you so much already to those who have donated of your time, of your talents, of your money. Thank you, and please be assured this is all going to help these people who have been evacuated. So we're going to go ahead and go on as planned with our Fiber at 4. So tonight I'm talking about New Year's resolutions, which I normally don't make because I break resolutions so easily. But I have made one resolution so far this year, and that is to finish projects. I am very good at starting projects, but I'm terrible at finishing them. I've got a cedar chest at home that is full of projects that are probably about 3 or 4 years old that I haven't looked at in a long time. So my resolution this year is to start finishing projects. So if you guys, thanks Mary Ann. Thank you, Teresa.
Me too.
Yeah, it's Teresa's resolution too.
I'm all for just starting.
Oh, and Gail's a starter, so she's going to start lots of projects this year. So if you guys want to chime in and let us know what your resolutions are, we would be delighted to hear it. So just to let you know, I did finish this year. Granted, all I had to do was put beads on the fringe, but I did finish it after midnight on January 1st. Also, too, I finished my first Gingersnap Hat from the Gingersnap Hat kit. So there's 3 hats in the kit, and I've already finished one, and I started the second one. So this is the buffalo plaid one. I don't have this on the Fiber at 4 category tonight, but I think I have it in last week's. So I'm just proving to you guys that I am sticking to my resolution so far. And granted, it's only January 2nd, but hey, you got to start somewhere. So let's see. Oh, thank you, Nancy. This first out of 3. I started the second one, and hopefully I'll have it done here in the next couple days. So really fun patterns too. If you guys love making hats, I recommend taking a look at that kit. So let's say that this year your New Year's resolution is to learn something new. So first of all, I just want to let you guys know that we have a Meet the Teacher event coming up on January 8th at 9 o'clock in the morning, not at night, and January 11th at 5 o'clock. It is free, but you do have to register on the website, and it's a good way to see what all classes we are offering this upcoming semester and what you might be interested in learning. There's going to be a lot of fun crochet classes, knit classes, rug punching, weaving, felting, you name it, we got it. So I highly recommend that you check that out. And I've got some comments coming up. So Terry's New Year's resolution is also to finish projects. And Tammy says that buffalo plaid hat would be nice in red and black. I agree. The kit comes with a porcelain colored yarn, which is this creamy color, and a caramel color, and also a gray color. But there is no reason why you couldn't use the patterns with a different color. So let's say that your New Year's resolution is to learn to crochet. Well, I've got 2 Learn to Crochet classes coming up. The first one starts January 13th, and then the second one, totally different session, is February 26th. So we're offering it twice so far. And what you would need if you decided to do Learn to Crochet, I'm going to go off camera here for a second. So these are the materials you would need for the class. So first of all, you would need the church mouse pattern for the mitts and the scarf. And during the class, you can decide if you want to do the scarf or the mitts. They both work off of the same pattern, so it's pretty easy. And yeah, this guy is $7. And of course, if you sign up for the class, you do get 10% off with a student discount. So isn't that cute? It's just a very simple pattern utilizing 3 different crochet stitches. 2, also, we recommend getting the Church Mouse Learn to Crochet Companion. We don't usually reference this during the class. Bandit's whining because Gail just left, so he's at the door waiting for her to come back. So I'm sorry if I start giggling. So the Learn to Crochet Companion, we don't reference it too much in class, but this is a fantastic reference item to have after the class is over, because it does give you pictorial demonstrations of the different stitches, how to start your project, how to finish your project. So this is a great reference to have once you have those rudimentary crochet skills under your belt. So this guy is $15.95. And then of course you need your hooks. So looking at the pattern, if you were to decide to make the scarf, and the materials are on the back, if you were to make the scarf, you would use the size I hook. And I love these hooks because of the handle on them. It's much easier for me to at least manipulate the hook. Also, I have carpal tunnel syndrome, so having that little bit of cushioning really helps my hands and my wrists out a lot. So the size I hook is $10.50. And for the hand warmers, you would use an H hook, which of course is a tiny bit smaller. For the hand warmers, you'd want it a little bit, the material kind of denser, because the scarf is doubled up, but the mitts are not. So you want a thicker fabric to keep your hands warm. So the H hook is also $10.50. And of course, if you sign up for the class, you do get the 10% discount. So let's say that maybe your New Year's resolution is to learn to knit. So the Learn to Knit classes, we have one starting on January 27th, and then we've also got one on February 5th. Both of them meet from 5 to 7 p.m. for the first time, and then the second and third time they meet, it's from 5 to 6:30. So for that class, what you would need is you'd need the church mouse pattern for the simple sampler hand warmers and ribbed scarf. Isn't that adorable? So these, both the crochet and the knit mitts, they are made flat, and then you seam them up. So don't get scared. You're not going to learn knitting and crocheting in the round in your first go, but we will get there eventually. So for the knit class, you also get to choose between the hand warmers and the scarf. So this pattern is $7. And And then like the crochet class, there's also a Learn to Knit companion. So again, a great reference material, like if you're in the middle of a project and you just need kind of a refresher about how to do something, this is a very great reference item. So this is $15.95. Then of course, you're going to need your needles. So for the hand warmers, you would need a size 8 needle, and what we recommend are the 9-inch straights. We've got these in both 9-inch and 13-inch. The 9-inch ones are just smaller, so they're not quite as cumbersome as the 13-inch needles. So if you want to, sure, go right ahead. I've got Teresa here with me. So those needles are, they're $7.99, right?
Yes.
Yep, they're $7.99. And if you are making the scarf, looks like you also need the size 8 needles. So those needles. Too, if you find that you're knitting a little bit looser, we also have size 7 needles. So we generally, when you learn to knit, start you out on either a size 8 or a size 7 needle. Nancy says hi, Teresa.
Hi, Nancy.
Teresa says hi. So those needles are both $7.99, and under the Fiberette 4 category, shopping category, we've got the knitting needles and the hooks and the pattern books for both knit and crochet. Now the recommended yarn for both Learn to Knit and Learn to Crochet is a worsted weight yarn. So I pulled 3 of our favorites right here. So for Learn to Crochet, you want a light colored yarn to a medium colored yarn. You don't want a dark colored yarn because your stitches are a little bit more difficult to find when you're learning. So we like to stick to a lighter color. With knitting, it's not quite as important as crochet, but I would definitely stick to medium to light colors for both knit and crochet. So our first recommended yarn is, of course, the Rios. Shop favorite, yay, we love our Malabrigo here. So the Rios is 210 yards. It is 100% superwash merino, and it is $16.95. So if you are planning on making a scarf, you would need 2 of these. If you were planning on making the hand warmers in either of the class, you would just need 1. So this is Cape Cod Gray, and this would be a fantastic color to learn to crochet on because it is a little bit lighter. But the good thing about Malabrigo is it's not like a solid. This is a tonal, so it has a little bit of differentiation in color in there. It goes a little bit lighter and then a little bit darker, but not too dark. Another great color would be this apple green. Now, I'm definitely a purple person, but for some reason I am crazy about this shade of green. But this would be amazing to learn to crochet on because of the brightness. It would be really easy to find your stitches. So that is the Rios, which is, of course, a worsted weight. We like teaching our Learn to Knit and Learn to Crochet classes on the worsted. The next would be Ultra Wool. This is, again, another shop favorite. We've used it for sweaters. We've used it for shawls. What have you guys used it for? You have used it, haven't you? Oh, hats. Thank you. Marianne? Cowls, yes. You can use it for everything. I think someone's used it for a blanket, too, I want to say.
Yes, I have used it for blanket.
Okay. So this is 100% superwash wool also. This has 219 yards. These are $12.55. Again, if you were going to make the scarf, I would recommend getting 2 of these guys. You would need just 1 for the hand warmers. So this is color 3318, which is a very, very pale blue. So that would be fantastic for Learn to Crochet. And then this is color 33108, which I want to say is called Frost. And I think that would be fantastic for both knitting and crocheting because this would show your stitches so well. I love the heathering to this yarn. So another fantastic yarn. My mom used these for colorwork stockings, believe it or not, for the holidays. She made 7 stockings, I want to say. 1 for each of the humans and 1 for each of the puppies. So Ultra Wool is great for just about anything. Another fantastic yarn is the Super Moon Worsted by Hummingbird Moon. So of course, local product. And this is $31.95, 100% superwash merino for 218 yards. I see a little heart. Oh, 8 stockings. I'm sorry, Mom, I was off by 1. So this would be fantastic for Learn to Crochet because it is a lighter color, and sometimes too the variegateds are really cool to learn to knit and crochet on because you can find your stitches easier because of the different colors in the yarn. So that is another positive for the variegateds. So this color is called Make Your Own Magic, and I chose to show this one because it is on a nice creamy white base, so it is a lighter color even though it does have a couple splashes of black in there. And plus I just love Hummingbird Moon. So that would be another fantastic yarn for both Learn to Knit and Learn to Crochet. All right. So let's say you know how to knit, you know how to crochet, so your New Year's resolution is to start learning a new type of project. So what if you wanted to learn to make socks? Well, first of all, socks are a lot of fun. I actually keep them in a little bag, so if I'm riding in the car somewhere, I have a car project that I can just toss in there, and socks are incredibly portable and they're not as difficult as people make them out to be, so don't be scared by socks. Trust me, they're a lot of fun. So to get started with socks, why not get a book called Getting Started with Knitting Socks? This is by our friend Ann Butt, who was actually just here about half an hour ago. So sorry, you guys, you just missed her. But this is a fantastic book. It breaks down the anatomy of the sock and tells you the different tools that you can use, the different kinds of needles, the different ways of blocking socks. I completely forgot to put it on Fiber at 4, but we've also got the One Sock book by the Fiber Company, which is also a great resource because it does also, like this book, break down the anatomy of the sock and the different needles and techniques used for sock making. So if this would definitely be a good New Year's resolution to learn how to knit socks. So this book is $19.99, and I hold in my hand the only copy we have left in the shop. So if you want to learn how to knit socks and you want this book, you may want to hop on that pretty quick. So when you are making socks, typically you will be using a fingering weight yarn, which is, if you're looking at the numeric system, a number 1 yarn. It is pretty thin. So when you are looking to make socks, we do recommend a yarn that is a combination of a fiber plus nylon. Nylon helps the sock keep its shape, it helps with stretchiness, and it also helps with durability. The man-made fiber really helps with durability because socks, obviously, you're going to be walking on them, they're on your feet. So you need that extra bit of strength there. So I pulled 3 of my favorite kinds of sock yarn to show you guys tonight, and ironically enough, they're all local products. How about that? So the first one I have to show you is the Meow Melange yarn, and this is by Road Trip Sock Yarn, Herd of Cats, or Allie Pate, whichever name you prefer to use. These are $36 per skein, and they are 85% superwash merino and 15% nylon. There are 400 meters here, which is about 420 yards. And yeah, and Allie, if you're not familiar with Road Trip Sock Yarn or Herd of Cats, Allie gets photos of adoptable cats from the Denver Dumb Friends League, and she dyes the yarn to match the fur colors of all of these cats. And not only does she do that, but she donates proceeds from each Meow Melange skein sold to the Denver Dumb Friends League, so these cats can get the food that they need while they're waiting for their forever home. So this guy is one of my favorites. This is Princess Caroline. And Princess Caroline is adorable, but she is a tricolor. So we've got the kind of orange tabby color in there with the white and the black. It's such a sweet, sweet yarn. And then there is Blinks, who is also adorable, if I may add. And he is black and white, so this yarn is a very nice dark, deep charcoal gray with white. And of course, at the time the yarn was dyed, these cats were up for adoption. I don't know if they still are, but if you're interested, contact the Denver Dumb Friends League. Yay, I see hearts. I know we all love our animals here. So again, the Meow Melange is about 420 yards. Hey, Gloria. 85% superwash merino, 15% nylon, and it is $36 per skein. And I have got all the colors on the Fiber at 4 shopping tab on the website. The next yarn is one of my favorites. Gail actually put it in the newsletter that it was one of my favorites. This is the Tippy Tree Tippy Sock. And Tippy Tree is located in Windsor. And this is $37.99. It is 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon. There are 463 yards here. And the texture on it is really cool. It's got this amazing ply to it. So you can kind of see it there. Let me get a little bit closer. There we go. So you can see that really cool plying in there. And this yarn, I'm actually making a sweater with it, and it is just fantastic to work with. It is soft. It's got enough nylon to it that it's a little bit stretchy, and it'll make fantastic socks. So this color is a new color to the shop. It's called Lil Goblins. It was from her Halloween line. And this is an awesome white base with charcoal and green and purple in it. And then this one was from her fall lineup. This is apple picking, and this just really, really reminds me of autumn with the creamy base with the deep reds, tans, and greens on there. Kind of reminds me of falling leaves. So again, that is Tippy Tree Tippy Sock. It is $37.99 for 463 yards of fingering weight yarn. I'm going to take a sip of my water or tea real quick. All right. So, of course, I couldn't talk about fingering weight yarn. So Mom says she loves apple picking. I'm glad to hear that. So I can't talk about fingering weight yarn without talking about my favorite, which is, of course, Hummingbird Moon. And isn't that lovely? So these skeins are $32.95. They are 80% superwash merino and 20% nylon. These are 450 yards now. They used to be about 420, but they have increased. So it's $32.95 for 450 yards. And I love this color. It's called Evil Stepmother. I love the super deep purple in here. And again, her yarn is very, even the solids are tonal in that they're not a solid purple. There's little bits of kind of periwinkle and lavender in there, which, by the way, in case you haven't been reading about it online, the Pantone color of the year is called Very Peri, so it is a periwinkle. So close to purple, but not quite there. I'm going to campaign to have 2023 be royal purple. So this one is called Poison Apple. I don't even have to look at the name to know which one this is. Poison Apple is really, really cool. I've made socks with this. I've made a shawl with it, and depending on how many stitches you have, it can have a striping effect or it can have kind of a color pooling effect on it. But this is an awesome neon green, neon pink, and then a deep, deep dark black. And I made my mother-in-law socks with this. I made a shawl for myself out of this, and this is super, super fun yarn to work with. And Allison loves that one. I do too. So this is I Put a Spell on You. So this one's another really cool one. I've worked with the worsted weight version of this yarn, and it's half black and then half tie-dyed colors. Again, depending on how many stitches you have, this can be a striping effect or it can color pool. And my mom actually made my Chihuahua a sweater out of this particular colorway. So I'll have to send the picture to Melanie so she can post it on Facebook for us. But all three of these brands of yarn, it does make great Chihuahua sweaters. So all three of these brands of yarn do have quite a bit of nylon to them, which that is going to help keep what I call the structural integrity of your project. So these are fantastic for socks. Of course, you don't necessarily have to use a yarn that has a nylon content to it to make socks, but we highly recommend it. Anything that is just a strict animal fiber will not have the stretch to it and typically won't wear quite as well as a nylon-based fiber will. So these are my recommendations for learning how to make socks. And again, there's also the Ann Budd Getting Started Knitting Socks book. And I will make a note here to put the One Sock book in the chat line when we're done so that you guys have access to that too. Cool. This is why I keep a pen handy too, not just my notes. So let's say that your New Year's resolution is to learn to make a sweater, which is a fantastic goal to have. Both knitting and crocheting sweaters is a ton of fun, and it does take a little bit more patience, but you have such an amazing item to show off when you're done. So first I'm going to show you, I've got my Interweave crochet magazine here. This is fall 2021. This is the last print issue that they're going to publish. We only have 2 left in the shop, so if you want to pick one up, I recommend you do it pretty soon. But this issue has everything from shawls to sweaters in it. Honestly, if you're going to purchase a paper issue of Interweave crochet, I would recommend that it be this one. So I have a couple sweaters in here to show you. So first is one that we used for a crochet along back in, I want to say it was September. It's been a while. No, it was November. Oh my goodness. This is the leaf peeping tee. And if you have never crocheted a sweater before, I highly recommend that you check this guy out. This sweater is very simple construction. It's just 2 rectangles, identical rectangles for the front and the back. And the way you change the length is just the ribbing here at the bottom. So you make the ribbing on the back part of the sweater a little bit longer than the front. You put the 2 pieces together, you actually crochet them together, and then you go in and make the sleeves. So this is super simple shaping. So this would be great for a first time crocheted sweater. And I have some fibers here that would work really well for this. This is made out of a DK weight yarn. I made mine out of a sport weight yarn, but I did check my gauge to make sure that I was hitting gauge and getting it with the thinner yarn. So I did have to adjust my hook size, which I always do anyway because I crochet so tightly. So you can do either sport or DK, but DK weight is the recommended weight for this particular sweater. So one of the participants in the crochet along used Remix Light for this sweater, and this is an amazing fiber for this sweater because it requires 3 colors. So Remix with the tweediness to it just adds a lot of character to the project. So Remix, again, Remix Light is a DK weight. It's $15 per ball. And this is 100% recycled fibers, and there are no animal fibers in this yarn. So if you are making a project for someone who has sensitivities to animal fiber, this is a great yarn to work with. So it's 30% nylon, 27% cotton, 24% acrylic, 10% silk, and 9% linen. So there's all your recycled fibers right there. So this is color number 6930, and this is a very lovely gray, and it's got that tweediness to it. It's a very subtle tweed, so it's not you're not going to come across a big bloop of color right in the middle of it. And then this is color 6962, and this is a very wonderful springy green. I actually have this at home to make a sweater. One of those infamous projects that I started like 2 years ago that I need to finish. So that is an amazing green. So this is wonderful yarn to either knit or crochet with. It works up beautifully. It blocks beautifully. So if you're, say, crocheting a piece and the edges are kind of going like this yarn is very easy to manipulate into those straight edges that you need. So Remix Light, DK weight, 432 yards. So if you were making the leaf peeping tee, you would only need 1 of each color to make that sweater because the yardage in these is amazing. So $15 per ball. And then I have another local product to show off. So this is Nerd String. Nerd String is located in Castle Rock, so yay, another Colorado product. This I think would be beautiful for the leaf peeping tee. You would need 3 colors, and I think this guy, you could probably get away with 1 skein per color. I would almost go 2 just to err on the side of caution. But this is 100% superwash merino, and there are 231 yards here. And this is $31.99, and this is a hand wash recommended yarn, so it probably could go in the washer, but to maintain the color I would recommend hand washing and then laying flat to dry. So this color is called Stillwater, and I love this color because frankly turquoise never goes out of style. Turquoise and the aqua family are always popular. It's a very gender neutral color, so it's very good for baby items too. So that's Stillwater. And then this is Airy, which is an incredibly pale blue. So those two would look lovely together for a project. And then I pulled out Abalone. And Abalone is kind of a dusky pink, but it has a little bit of gray to it. And then this is In Bloom. So this reminds me of springtime colors. It's got greens and pinks in it. And I think those two would go together really nicely. So I think if you were doing something like this leaf peeping tea that needed 3 colors, I don't know if these would go together. Well, I don't know, that might be okay. But at least these 2 pairs would be really, really nice. So that again is the Nerd String. It is $31.99 and it is made right here in Colorado, so just down the road in Castle Rock. And I had one more sweater I wanted to show you all from this magazine. I didn't pull any yarn for this particular sweater, but this is definitely on my, I really want to make this before the end of the year list. This is the Eli Cathedral Pullover by Kristen Tendyke, and it's in this magazine, but it's also in one of their online publications called The Crochetist, and it has cables and lace work and all the things I just love about crochet.
Very pretty.
Teresa, in case you didn't hear that, Teresa said it's very pretty. This picture doesn't do it justice. You probably would need to come into the shop and look at it, but this is an amazing sweater, and they used a tweed yarn for it. But that is also from the fall 2021 issue of Interweave Crochet, which again is the last paper magazine that they are publishing for crochet. Interweave does have an amazing library online of both knit and crochet patterns. So if you're looking for something, I would recommend going there. And of course, Ravelry is always useful. So pretty sweater. I know, Nancy, isn't it fantastic? I'm gonna grab some more tea real quick. I tell people, you know, anything you can crochet, you can knit, and anything you can knit, you can crochet. So doesn't matter what you prefer to do or whatever you're in the mood to make. If you want to make cables and crochet, you can do it. If you want to knit color work, you can do it. So both crafts are very, very versatile. So we also have to talk about knitted sweaters. And of course, I pulled the Interweave Knits Winter 2022. And I marked two really cool sweaters in here. So I fell in love with this. I actually have a subscription to this magazine because I love it so much. But I fell in love with this hoodie the second I laid eyes on it. This is the Thresher hooded pullover. And it's got a cabled kangaroo pocket on it. And I just love this sweater. So the sweater body would probably be pretty easy. Where you might learn some new techniques would definitely be the kangaroo pocket with the cables and affixing it to the sweater. And then on the very next page is another sweater I'm absolutely in love with. This is the Greensward Pullover, and this actually uses a yarn we have right here in the shop, the Barocco Vintage DK. And Teresa went away, so I will get closer to the camera here. So this is a very wonderfully worked sweater. It's almost kind of sort of a raglan. It's kind of hard to tell because it's got this really cool shaping. So the body of the sweater is just a nice creamy white, and they come in and do little color touches at the ribbing. So I love that sweater. I may have to add that sweater to my list too. So this is the Interweave Knits Winter 2022 issue. It is $8.99. And I think I forgot to mention the crochet one is $8.99 as well. So I've got a couple kits to show you to hopefully inspire you to try knitting a sweater. So if, let's say you've done basic sweater and you want to up your skills a little bit. So what I would recommend is the Brienne Sweater. This is made from the Hanui, which is a Noro yarn. It is the non-traditional Noro yarn. It's just a nice neutral color. This is, of course, made from a special sheep herd in New Zealand, and they're working with the Noro family to produce this yarn line. So it's natural, it's undyed, and it's incredibly soft. So the kit comes with enough yarn to make the sweater anywhere from size extra small to extra large. It also comes with the Noro magazine that has the pattern in it. And I want to say it's worked top down, but let us take a look here. And Noro magazines are fantastic. It's such a good way to get to know the yarn and just what you can do with something that's a little out of the ordinary. So, oh, they don't list which page the pattern's on, but there's the Brienne Sweater. Love the yoke in there. Oh, there's some really neat crochet patterns in here too. Honestly, trend report for 2022, be on the lookout for crochet. A lot of these designers and magazines like Noro are going to be focusing a lot more on crochet because it has seen such a huge surge since the pandemic started, which I think is fantastic. I'm so happy people are wanting to learn to crochet. So this guy, let's see here. Materials, we know the materials because they are in the kit. And body and sleeves are worked separately in there. Okay, so it is worked from the bottom up, but it's worked in one piece. So that is cool. Okay, cool. Yeah, they're worked separately, and then you knit them together. So sweater is worked from the bottom up, the sleeves are worked separately, and then you join them together and work the yoke. So that is the Brienne Sweater Kit, and I'll show you the picture here again. I'm going to have to reread this magazine. It's been a while since I've taken a look at it. So that is the Brienne Sweater. Nancy loves that Noro yarn. Nancy, you got some of this, right? What are you using it for? I'm kind of curious. It is a worsted weight yarn. I would say it's probably leaning more towards a heavy worsted weight, maybe even almost an Aran weight yarn. It is 100% wool, and there's about 400 meters in here, so 420 yards, give or take. And so the kit comes with enough yarn to make any size from size extra small to extra large. You've got all the yarn, you've got the magazine, which has the pattern, and many, many other beautiful patterns to look at. And the price on the kit is $274.99. Okay, we do have, that's for the size large through 3X. Okay, so I think I confused this with another sweater. So the size large is $274.99, and I think small and medium is $224, I want to say. So, hey Teresa, could you look up the price of the size small through medium of the Brienne sweater? I grabbed a large through 3X.
Can I borrow this?
Of course you may. So Nancy says, no project yet, got all the colors. You know, I think it would make a delicious blanket, very pricey blanket, but a very soft one. Colorwork sweater. They actually used it for a granny square sweater too. So I think that would look really cool if you wanted to make your granny squares and sew them into a sweater using the Hanui. So just a suggestion though. My last item for you guys tonight is another sweater. This is definitely a shop favorite. This is definitely a project that is not as difficult as it looks, but it would be a step outside of some people's comfort zones, and that is the Sybil Sweater, which I have over here. I'm gonna see if my cord will stretch long enough. There we go. So this is the Sybil Sweater. This is a Dan Doe design, and you know what? I'm just gonna take it off the model.
You want it just small?
Yes, please.
$229.99.
$229.99. Okay, so the Brienne Sweater Kit for the small through medium is $229.99. Thank you.
And that's one of my favorite sweaters.
Oh, and this is one of Teresa's favorite sweaters. So Sybil is really cool. What you do is there is a provisional cast on. You start in the middle of the back, and the provisional cast on you work this way and do a sleeve, and then you pick up the stitches in the middle and work the other way and make the other sleeve. And the lace border, which is stunning, is added later. So no seaming, no sewing. It's a fun knit too. Yeah, Mom enjoyed making this a lot. So it's.
Didn't your mom say she was going to make my kit?
Oh, and Mom, Teresa was wondering if you're going to make hers too.
Sounds good.
So I will stand here and wait for a snarky reply to that. So it's actually not as difficult as it looks. As for new techniques, you'd be learning the provisional cast on, how to pick up the stitches from the provisional cast on, and then how to. Mom sent you some smiling, laughing, crying emojis.
Oh, I'm crying. She's laughing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, it's the ones where she's laughing so hard she's crying.
Oh, okay.
So the Sybil, you would learn all those techniques plus the lace work and kind of knitting in the round, because the center is almost like a bolero, and then you work the lace around the bolero. So let me find the tag on this guy real quick, or maybe not. Here we go. So this is made from the Silk Plus yarn by Dando. The needle size, they say, varies, because you probably are using a couple different needle sizes for the lace versus the bolero part of the sweater. So the Sybil kits, we currently have two. So we have the Angora colorway, which is what the shop sample is in. It's this kind of creamy tan color. And that is $168. It comes with all the yarn you need to make a sweater plus the pattern. And then we've also got it in the Pacific colorway, which is a very, very lovely turquoisey blue, leaning more towards the blue side of turquoise than green. And that is also $168. And again, it comes with all the yarn plus the pattern. So I hope that has inspired you all to, keep up with your New Year's resolutions. And I am going to try very, very hard to either bring in and show on Fiberette for my projects that I have finished, not started, finished, or get some photos posted on Facebook, because I am going to stick to this resolution this year. So before we go, just wanted to remind you all that we still have.
See, I'm going to take bets.
You're okay. Teresa's taking bets that I'm going to back out on my resolution. But so I just wanted to remind you guys that we are still having the sample sale. The items are all at the front of the shop, and they are also online under the sample sale category. They're kind of broken up by style of project that we are selling. And then we also have the semi-annual sale going on, which has a lot of really cool products. There's a lot of kits, a lot of yarn, books. So that is also online, and it's also marked here in the shop which items are on sale. Oh, good heavens, my family's ganging up on me. Thanks, Teresa. So that's what's going on.
Project yet?
What? No.
Oh, wait, no, okay.
Teresa's reading your comments, and she's going to reply back to all of you, because I feel like I don't need to. So that's what's going on in the shop. We've also got the updated classes listed on the website. And again, we've got the Meet the Teacher event, which is on the 8th, which is, I want to say, a Saturday, at 9 o'clock, and then the 11th at 5 p.m. And those, again, are free events. They are over Zoom, and they're free, but you do have to register for them. So you can do that in person on the website or over the phone if you're having trouble with the website. So that is all we have for you guys tonight. We will see you next week, and I hope you have a lovely week, and please stay safe in all the cold and the snow. So drive safely, drive slowly, and we'll see you next week. Bye.